Hey Browns fans, we're gearing up for a huge divisional rematch against the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. This game is more than just another matchup on the schedule. It's packed with emotion and meaning. But before we dive into today's details, be sure to hit that like button to stay informed and let us know what you're looking forward to in the comments below. Let's go! Think back to a few weeks ago. Nick Chubb's game-winning touchdown in the snow gave us a surprising win over Pittsburgh. Now, we're back in the same stadium where Chubb suffered that heartbreaking injury last season. But let's get to the point. Sportscaster Bruce Drennan recently stirred things up with some strong comments about Nick Chubb's future. During a segment on Bonus Time, Drennan suggested that the Browns should have considered trading Chubb sooner. His reasoning? If Chubb can't return to his pre-injury dominance, why not get value for him now, even if it's just a low-round draft pick? If he's never going to be the RB he was, get what you can get, Drennan said bluntly. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially for fans who watched Chubb be the heart and soul of this team for years. But let's be real, the numbers haven't been encouraging. Since returning from injured reserve, Chubb is averaging just 3.3 yards per carry and 40.5 yards per game. His yards after contact and breakaway runs are at career lows. Pro Football Reference paints a picture of a player struggling to find his old form. Even the Browns coaching staff seems to have noticed the decline. Chubb's snap count has dropped to just 34%, with more of it going to Jerome Ford. It's clear the team is adjusting its approach to the running game, and that raises questions about Chubb's long-term role. Now let's switch gears and talk about the playoffs. Yes, the playoffs, believe it or not, there's still a glimmer of hope. The Browns' chances of making the postseason are less than 1%, but hey, it's not zero. With Jameis Winston bringing new energy to the offense, the team has already posted surprising wins over the Steelers and Ravens. So what's the path to the postseason? It's a long shot, but here's the breakdown. The Browns need to win out, finishing 8-9. That's no easy task, with divisional matchups still to come and a matchup against the Chiefs on the horizon. Baltimore is the key. The Ravens are currently 8-5 with a 97% chance of making the playoffs. For the Browns to get in, they need Baltimore to lose, which would drop them to 8-9. In that case, Cleveland's 2-0 head-to-head record against the Ravens would give them the tiebreaker. The Dolphins are another obstacle. In Week 17, the Browns face Miami at home. They'll need to win this game and hope the Dolphins lose another one to drop to 9 total losses. Finally, the Colts. Cleveland must tie or surpass Indianapolis in the standings. If the Colts lose 3 of their final 4 games, the Browns could overtake them for the final wild-card spot. Sounds simple, right? Of course not. It's a nearly impossible scenario. But hey, we're Browns fans. We know a thing or two about clinging to hope, even when the odds are stacked against us. What about Jameis Winston's role in all this? The Browns have been riding the highs and lows of Winston's aggressive playing style. He's brought excitement and big play potential to the offense, but has also struggled with turnovers. Heading into this Sunday's matchup, he'll need to balance his gunslinger mentality with smart decision-making against the Steelers' defense that thrives on takeaways. All right, Browns Nation, it's time to hear from you. Do you think Drennan has a point about trading Nick Chubb? And what are your thoughts on the Browns' playoff chances, pipe dream or miracle waiting to happen? On Sunday, the Browns head to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers in what is shaping up to be a grudge match for the ages. Leading the charge? None other than Myles Garrett, who is looking to deliver another monster performance like the one he had in Week 12. Remember that game? Garrett was unstoppable, racking up 3 sacks and 3 tackles for loss in a dominant showing. Garrett's game plan is clear: stop the run and force the Steelers into passing situations. We have to put them in obvious passing situations, Garrett said earlier this week. It's a simple strategy, but one that requires flawless execution. Last time around, Garrett did most of the damage in the first half before the Steelers adjusted and started throwing everything at him: tight ends, running backs, even double and triple teaming. This time around, Garrett knows they'll try the same tactics to slow him down. But the 8-year veteran has been studying tape, looking for weaknesses in the Steelers' adjustments, and preparing to counter whatever they throw his way. They have to show they've really put in the effort to change things up, Garrett said. If they haven't, we'll stick with what worked. Garrett's impact goes beyond just sacks. Even when he's not taking down the quarterback, he's creating chaos that benefits the entire defense. Against the Broncos last week, he didn't record a sack but forced a critical QB pressure that led to a Greg Newsome interception. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz put it best, him winning in pass rush doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a sack. And speaking of Greg Newsome, he's been making headlines of his own. Newsome and Steelers wide receiver George Pickens have a heated rivalry brewing. After their snow-filled showdown in Week 12 ended with a scuffle near the stands, Pickens downplayed Newsome, saying, "I don't even know who that is." Newsome's response? Pure class. "I don't care what he has to say. He's all about himself, and I'm all about the team," Newsome told reporters. Pickens' reputation for unsportsmanlike conduct has been growing, with penalties and fines piling up throughout the season. Whether it's grabbing helmets, unnecessary roughness, or chirping at defenders, Pickens has become a player opponents know they can rattle. Newsome isn't buying into the drama, though, focusing instead on the bigger picture, beating Pittsburgh on Sunday. For the Browns, this game is about more than just a divisional win, it's about making history. If Garrett and the defense can replicate their Week 12 dominance, Cleveland will sweep the Steelers for the first time since 1988. Let that sink in. It's been 36 years since the Browns managed to take both games in a season against Pittsburgh. Garrett sees this as an opportunity to leave a lasting legacy. "If there's something you can fight for, you have to go out and find it," he said. "That's part of our legacy, and if we want it, we have to achieve it." As we count down to kickoff, all eyes are on Garrett and the defense. Can they stop the Steelers' run game, force them into passing situations, and give Garrett the chance to dominate again? Will the Browns break their decades-long drought against Pittsburgh? All right, Browns fans, it's time for you to weigh in. Do you think Myles Garrett can deliver another dominant performance? And what's your take on the Newsome-Pickens rivalry? Does it add fuel to the fire for Sunday's game? Jameis Winston has been making waves since stepping in as the Browns' starting quarterback after Deshaun Watson's injury. In just 5 starts, he's put together a solid resume: 1,763 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, plus a rushing score. His completion rate? A respectable 61.3%. While those numbers aren't perfect, yes, those interceptions are a concern. Winston's performances have turned heads, both in Cleveland and across the league. One of those taking notice is none other than NFL legend Kurt Warner, who shared his honest thoughts about Winston. Warner had this to say: "I've always believed this. When I watch him, the majority of good plays he makes, the throws he's capable of, and what we saw for most of the game last night, it's clear he's without a doubt one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the world." That's high praise coming from a Hall of Famer, and it's hard to argue with Warner's assessment. Winston has shown flashes of brilliance this season, making throws that only a few quarterbacks can. If he could clean up those turnovers, he'd be in elite company. At just 30 years old, Winston still has plenty of football left in him. His leadership on and off the field is evident, and he's giving the Browns a lot to think about heading into the offseason. Should Cleveland bring him back as the starter for 2025? Or will another team swoop in and offer him a fresh opportunity? There's no doubt that Winston has made this decision a tough one for the Browns front office. With free agency looming, the next few months will be crucial in determining the team's direction at quarterback. All right, Browns fans, it's your turn. What do you think about Jameis Winston? Should the Browns re-sign him, or should they look elsewhere for their quarterback of the future? Let us know in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Browns content. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Browns!